My name is Jake Owen, local producer. Grew up not too far from here. I don't even know what we call where we grew up. I guess the Madison area. But I basically got into hip hop just being around it. That was what we did when I was a kid. So we did the break dancing, we wrote graffiti. I didn't come into the music till way later. Because I honestly didn't know how to do it or didn't really have any idea how it was being done. But when I remember being, I think a freshman in high school, I saw Vitamins Group Ghetto Children perform at a talent show at Garfield. And that was the first time I saw somebody out there scratching and just made me want to do it. I was always a fan of the music, so it was kind of just a natural progression. Eventually got into making beats and got to work with a lot of people locally and nationally, and I'm still doing that to this day. And I've probably been making beats since '98, so what's that, 14 years? So it's a long time.
What's your definition of
hip hop? I don't know, it changes all the time. So I feel like it's not, like when we were kids, you had to do everything. You had to like write graffiti, you had to, break dance. It was way more unified. It was like something that we felt like was kind of ours, and it was like a secret thing. Like, we really repped it hard. Like, I still have like jackets in my house. The room at my dad's house still has graffiti on the wall. Like, that room, it's still all there from the 80s. So I mean, it was just what we identified with. I feel as I got older, there's certain, I'm more of a music person than anything. Like, I can watch people break dance and appreciate it, but I'm way too old to get out there, trying to do the helicopters anymore. I got a bad back, but it's definitely something that in my experience of being able to travel around the world and just see hip hop in all these different countries, and it's just amazing to me to see how something from here, in America, is just translated like that. And you go overseas and they're way more into like what the old definition of hip hop is, where the graffiti is crazy out there. They're doing like these big b-boy jams. And it's definitely, I wouldn't even say pure, it's just more in a kind of an infant stage. So it's like you go back in time by doing that. But yeah, right now, I don't know what my definition of hip hop is. Honestly, I couldn't even say, because it's gone so many different places. It's not, one particular thing.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jaguna, also known as Most Wordsmith of the Physics. And I'd say I encountered hip-hop first, just growing up in Seattle. I'm from the South End, so seeing hip-hop in the park, whether it's Dearborn Park, Benefit Park, or Holly Park, we would see cats rapping, seeing a little bit of the breakdancing, more the skateboard culture back then, and just wanted to be a part of it. Growing up in the city, my parents are from Kenya. So we used to do a lot of fairs around the city. My parents used to sell a lot of products at these local fairs. And I remember as a kid seeing the Ghetto Children rock, seeing Cabe, seeing Sister Miller, and that showed me that hip hop was done on a local level. And that made a big impression on me, seeing it also at the Black Fest, and seeing that hip hop wasn't just something that's seen on TV, but something that's right here. Going to Jefferson Community Center in Beacon Hill, they would have us go through breakdancing classes, have us do little rap battles, and seeing that as kind of a self-development tool. Really, when I look back on it, it helped us learn about who we were, what your style is. So hip-hop to me has been something that's taught me about who I am, as live in my environment. So it's a big part of my identity. And coming to Seattle Central is also big to me because about 10 years ago, I went to school here, and we would throw hip-hop shows. We had a group called the Urban Arts Collective here. I did the Black Student Union, and we really did bring together a group of phenomenal artists here that are now doing their thing. I met some of my best friends, Yidam Set, Gabriel T. Odros, a lot of cats that are doing music to this day, Germ D, Sun, all those cats. We came together here through hip-hop. We used to have ciphers in these halls that would take over the school. And it was something that brought a real character to this environment. People knew that Seattle Central, that hip-hop made Seattle Central something different, something with a more vibrant culture than other schools in the area. And that really developed us as artists and as people, because at the time we focused on our art, but we also focused on kind of the consciousness in the music. What are we talking about? It was a little bit more focused on what you're talking about, and that had an effect on us. So we would come to events in this room that may not be hip-hop related, but maybe related to something that was more, you know, politically oriented. But we would incorporate that into hip-hop. We had some of the OGs, like my man Merce here, teaching us about those kind of things, about performance. You know, I remember Merce was the first cat that taught us how to perform. You know, so hip-hop, it's a tool that was passed on to us. It's something of a tradition, and me coming from an African culture, I understand that is part of our culture. It's a value. I think in the Ashanti culture, it's called Sankofa, where you come back and give back whatever resources you have to the youth. And hip hop was something that was established by those before us, that was handed off to us. So I appreciate what they handed to me, you know, because I've been able to develop who I am as a person and try to give that back then to the younger generation and to the people. So it's a big part of my life, and I'm just happy to be here to share more of that with everybody here, you know, build our local family and our movement as much as possible.